Hello everyone, I'm back, and today I brought you a magical topic, the Thousand Sons. A little propaganda here. Why would you like to play Thousand Sons? Probably because you like the Egyptian theme, you like the magic, like to be sophisticated, or when something bad happens, it's never your fault. I mean, Magnus did nothing wrong, right? But other than that, why would you like them? Your favorite god is probably Tzeentch, the god of hope, possibilities, and schemes. These guys have a tragic background. Probably they have one of the saddest stories as far as Space Marines go. They were loyal, they wanted to help to everyone, but they did it in the wrong way, and a lot of things happened, and now they are in the service of Tzeentch. Okay, but this is not a lore video, so let's go to their rules. Why they are so special that they deserve their own line? Well, let's see. First of all, they have a few special rules that you should know. First, that you should know that almost every one of their units are Psykers, except from the Tzaangors and the Machines. But most of the Marine-like units have at least a Psyker, mostly the person who leads the unit. Okay, they have a lot of magic, we know that now. Usually, your army has access around 20 different spells, and many of them are really great. About these spells, you have access to the Discipline of Change and the Discipline of Vengeance. Each of them have 9 spells, and each unit have to choose between one of these. But other than that, every one of them knows Smite and also your cult spells. What are the cult spells? Or what are the cults even? Well, this army is divided into 9 different cults. These are just different subgroups, and you have to choose one of these. Every one of these will give you one spell that all of your units know, one warlord trait that you can purchase for one of your HQs if you want to, and one relic that you get access to. This is a really long list, and many of the options are really great. I think you should look at them and try out every one of these options that you like, because you can play this army in many different ways. Now we know that we got access to many different psychic powers, and many of our units can cast these spells. But an army that is so psychically heavy should be something else there, right? You are right. There's this system that you can buff your magic with, called Kabbalistic Rituals. How does Kabbalistic Ritual works? Well, it's a point system where you can spend points and buy different upgrades. But how does it work? How do I get the points? In every turn, at the start of your psychic phase, you get Cabal points. How do you get Cabal points? You get some Cabal points for each 1000 Sun caster in your army. If you check this box, in this case, you get 2 Cabal points for the Infernal Master and 1 Cabal point for the Scarab Occult Sorcerer, so you have 3. Let's check out with the lowest point cost, because you can use this ability even with just this box set. So Warp Sight for 3 points. You can use this Kabbalistic Ritual in your psychic phase before you would manifest a psychic power. Basically, if your spell needs the target to be visible of the caster, it doesn't need to be visible to the caster, but it's enough if it's visible to any of your casters. So you can use the eyes of one of the friendly Psykers. So this is great. There is one called Imbued Manifestation. When you successfully manifested a spell, you can give 6 inches to its range. The next one, Malevolent Charge, for 4 Cabal points. You can use this when you successfully manifested a spell, and if it's cause any mortal wound to an enemy unit, you can cause D3 additional mortal wounds. Usually it's really great to deal more damage, but be careful, because in this case, if the enemy has some kind of a Feel No Pain ability and it resists the damage, then you cannot deal the additional D3 mortal wounds. There is another one called Kindred Sorcerers for 5 Cabal points. You can use it after you took a psychic test. You can add one to the test. So basically, when you roll a 4 or a 5, you can make it a 5 or a 6, or things like that. Or even if you rolled a 10, with this you can add one, and it counts as 11, and you have a Super Smite. So not D3 mortal wound, but D6. And usually that is when I roll a 1. Another one, Echoes of the Warp, for 4 Cabal points. You can select one Psyker from your army, and this Psyker can make a psychic action called Echoes from the Warp. Warp charge value is 3, you gain a command point. And now here is a spicier one called Pact from Beyond for 7 Cabal points, so now we're in the more expensive territory. When you would attempt to manifest a psychic power, where you don't have to roll for it, it just happens, but with the least amount that is needed for that spell, which makes it somewhat easier to deny it. So, when you would need a 5 to a smite, with this you get the 5. But honestly, this one is not good if the enemy still have some denies, or the casting value is really low on that spell. But here is a great one. Kabbalistic Focus for 8 Cabal points. After you made the psychic test and it passed, your psychic power or your psychic action cannot be denied. It is awesome if you want to make sure that something works. Okay, one of the last two, Psychic Maelstrom for 8 Cabal points. You can use this ability to be able to manifest another Witchfire psychic power. Usually these are the damage dealers like the Doombolt, and basically you cannot attempt to cast any powers twice except Smite, but in this case you can use it. So this one is more possible damage. And the last one, Wrath of the Immaterium. This one is the same as the Kindred Sorceress one, but for 9 Cabal points, and you can add 2 to your psychic test. So basically, after you took a psychic test, you can add 2 to the roll. These are the things that you can spend your Cabal points on. But be careful, if you don't use your Cabal points until the end of your psychic phase, the Cabal points are lost. And you will get new one in your next psychic phase. And one last rule for the 1000 Suns that you can use, called Legion Command. You are able to purchase different abilities to your Psyker units or models. Some of them are really great. I will tell some of these at the Scarab Occult Terminators, because you are able to purchase 3 of these for them. But you can only purchase 1 of them, but you are able to choose between 3. That's what I meant to say. But now, let's check out this box set. Combat Patrol, 1000 Suns. Price, $115 or 120 euros or 90 pounds. Value, it is 159 euros. Points value, 430 or 460, depending on if you buy any upgrades to the Scarab Occult Terminator squad. But now, let's check out the HQ option. Infernal Master. 1 model for 90 points. Basically, you have a hero that is a mix between a chaplain and a librarian. Mage Priest Space Knight. Interesting concept. But this model looks really great. Let's go through his equipment first. He has an Inferno Bolt Pistol, which is basically a bolt pistol with 2 points of armor penetration, range of 12, 1 shot, strength 4, armor penetration 2 and damage 1. Also, he has Krag and Frag grenades, grenade 1, range 6, strength 6, armor penetration 1 and D3 damage, so damage between 1 and 3. Or you're also able to use a Frag grenade, which is grenade D6, so shots between 1 and 6, range 6, strength 3, armor penetration 0, damage 1, but it has the blast keyword, so you have more shots against hordes. He also has a melee weapon, called Force Stave. Basically, it's a quarterstaff with some heretic icons, and he is able to channel his psychic might into it, before whacking you. He can make 4 attack with this, at strength 7, armor penetration of 1, and D3 damage, so damage between 1 and 3. Okay, we went through his equipment. Now let's see why is he a Mage Priest. He is able to manifest 1 psychic power and attempt to deny 1 psychic power. So he can cast 1 and he can deny 1. He knows Smite and he is able to choose 1 from the Disciple of Change or the Disciple of Vengeance. So from lots of spells. But don't forget, he also knows the Cult spell. And the Infernal Master also has an ability called Infernal Pacts. Because making pacts with the demons always works out fine, so nothing bad can happen. But let's check out what can happen in these cases. This model knows 2 Infernal Pacts. You are able to make a pact in your command phase, and obviously you can only use those pacts that you know. And even if you have more than 1 Infernal Masters, you can only attempt a pact once per each battle round. Okay, now quickly, let's check out what are these pacts. How do you make a pact? Well, you roll a d6, and on 3+, you made the pact. First one called Bladed Maelstrom. If a unit contains 6 or more models, then the unit suffers a mortal wound. Other than this unit, until the start of your next command phase, has to subtract 2 from their advance and charge rolls. Second one, Fires of the Abyss. If the pact is successful, you have to find the closest enemy unit within 15. That is visible to the Infernal Master. That unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Third one, Capering Imps. If the pact was successful, you have to select 1 enemy unit within 24 that is visible to the Infernal Master. And until your next command phase, that unit cannot benefit from cover, they cannot fire Overwatch, and they cannot set to defend. So basically, you take away their defensive bonuses. The fourth one, Diabolic Savant. In your next psychic phase, you will have 1 additional Cabal point. And in additional, in your next Psychic phase, you can reroll the Psychic test that is taken by the Infernal Master. So free reroll. And one additional Cabal point. Nice. Glimpse of Eternity. If the pact was successful, you can reroll one dice that you have rolled. This is really great because with this one, you can reroll dices that you can't reroll with command reroll. So damage on the smite or things like that. But one important thing, you cannot reroll any rolls that is related to the mission. So which objective will be active, or how many points do you receive, or things like that. And the last one, sixth one, Malefic Maelstrom. If the pact is successful, you select one friendly Thousand Suns unit within 24 that is visible to the Infernal Master. Until the start of your next command phase, each time that unit makes a ranged attack, so each time that unit shoots, you add one to the strength of that attack. So now your bolters will be strength 5 or your rockets will be strength 9. It is really great, and your best bet if you put this on a 10-man Scarabacle Terminator squad. That's it about our hero. Now let's check out the troop option of this kit. Tzaangors, 1 model for 7 points, or 10 model for 70 points, or 20 models for 140 points. Well, these are your basic guys, but more precisely your basic cannon fodder. They are a little bit tougher than your average cultists. Also, they are able to use some special war gears. Basically, they have some things that going for them, but they are in the rough spot, in my opinion. First of all, let's check out what they have, and after that, I will tell you my issues with them. They have toughness 4, so they are tougher than the average cultists, although their armor save is just a 6+. But here's the big but. They also have a 5+ invulnerable save, which makes them much more survivable. They are able to choose between 2 types of different weapon options. First one is auto pistol and chainsword. With this one, each model will have a pistol shot, 1 shot, range 12, strength 3, armor penetration 0 and damage 1. And 1 additional attack in fight, so every model will attack twice with weapon skill 4, strength 4, armor penetration 0 and damage 1. The other weapon option that you have, called Tzaangor Blades. With this weapon option, you will make an additional attack. So basically, you will attack 2 times, 3 times for the leader, with armor penetration 1 and damage 1. In my opinion, the Tzaangor Blades are much better, because that one shot has low strength and no armor penetration, and your melee attacks also doesn't have armor penetration if you use Chainsword. But with Tzaangor Blades, at least in melee, you will be able to dish out some damage. If you are thinking about the auto pistols, I will have to tell you, don't do that. In most cases, if you use 10 auto pistols, you make 10 shots. In average, you will kill a guardsman or wound a space marine. So much better if you use the Tzaangor Blades. Also, you are able to take war gear options. You can take both, they are free and they are good. First one, Brayhorn. You add 1 to your charge and advance rolls. For free it's awesome. Herd Banner. Each time when you take a morale test for this unit, you are able to reroll the result. It is great because even if you are almost sure that you will fail, you can roll a 1 and then no one will run. So for free it's great. Well, my main issue with the Tzaangors. If I want something durable, 5 Rubric Marines would be a much better deal. If I want something cheap, 10 cultists are much cheaper. 5+ is still a 5+. And if you believe in it, Tzeentch will reward you. But I wouldn't use more than this 20. Okay, let's check out the last one, the big one. Scarabacle Terminators, 5-man squad, 5 models for 200 points. Well, these guys are really tanky and really dangerous, and they also have access to many great abilities. Let's check out this unit. This unit has 4 Scarabacle Terminator and 1 Scarabacle Sorcerer, which is basically the same a Terminator but a Sorcerer, and he has to have a staff. Okay, let's check out the weapon options first. Each model in this unit is equipped with an Inferno Combi Bolter, which is basically an upgraded Combi Bolter. Range 24, Rapid Fire 2, which is 4 shots, because Terminators are always rapid firing. Strength 4, Armor Penetration of 2 and Damage 1. Other than this, each model, except the Sorcerer, is equipped with a Prosperine Corpash, which is basically a curved sword, which gives you strength, armor penetration and damage. How does it look like on a model? You make 3 attacks with strength 5, with armor penetration of 3 and damage 2, which is really great dealing with space marines, orcs, so the heavier infantry. Usually it goes through on infantry and bikers like knife on the butter. The sorcerer have a force stave, is the same that we talked about earlier: 3 attack, strength 7, armor penetration of 1, and D3 damage. But if you prefer the sword, you are able to give your sorcerer a sword, the Prosperine Korpesh, but you can change the staff, you can change his bolter. So he loses 4 shots, but has 2 different melee profiles. It's completely your choice, but the Inferno Combi Bolter ain't half bad. Some fancy heavy weapon options. For every 5 models in the unit, you are able to change a Scaraboccle Terminator's Combi Bolter to a Heavy Warp Flamer or a Soul Reaper Cannon. Let's check out what these are able to do. Heavy Warp Flamer. Range 12, Heavy D6, so shots between 1 and 6. The flamer is automatically hitting the target. And you have strength 5, armor penetration of 2, and damage 1. This is for 5 points. So a short rundown. Range 12, shots between 1 and 6, you don't have to roll hit rolls, and its strength is a little bit better than the Inferno Combi Bolter. I would not use this one. However, you have the Soul Reaper Cannon option for 5 points. Range 24. Heavy 5, so fix 5 shots, which is great. It has a strength of 6, armor penetration of 3, and damage 1. I think this one is great. Okay, and here is another good one. For every 5 models in the unit, you are able to give one of your Scaraboccle Terminators, not the Sorcerer, a Hellfire Missile Rack for 10 points. Basically, it's a missile rack that has a range of 36, 2 shots, strength 8, armor penetration of 2, and damage D3. Since you don't have many weapons with good range and with high strength, I think this one is a good deal, because you need some. What else do they have? They have a 2+ armor save, that is really great, but for safety they also have a 5+ invulnerable save. They have another ability called Arcane Automata. Basically, they don't have to take morale test, they automatically pass it. Where one of the great sorcerers of the Thousand Sons, in the past they made a little oopsie, turned half of their legion into dust, and their souls infused with their armor. So that's why the leader is a sorcerer who leads these guys with magic. So that's why you don't have to take morale test. But also, because of that, you have a cool ability called All is Dust. Each time when you would take a damage from a weapon that has only damage 1, you are able to add 1 to your armor saving throws. In addition, you are able to move with heavy weapons, without taking any penalty to your hit rolls. So that's why I think the Soul Reaper Cannon is better than the Warp Flamer. More shots, better strength, better armor penetration. Win-win. Okay, the leader, the Scaraboccle Sorcerer, is able to manifest 1 psychic power and able to deny 1 psychic power. He knows Smite, he knows the Cult power, and he is able to choose 1 psychic power from the Disciple of Change or from the Disciple of Vengeance. You are also able to purchase an upgrade for this sorcerer. You are able to choose between these 3. First one, called Ardent Automata, for 15 points. If this model's unit performing an action, they are also able to shoot without failing an action. It is really great if you have to make some actions, like a psychic action, or even just raising a banner. You are still able to shoot. I think this one is worth it. The other option, Protege. For 5 points, this model knows 1 additional spell. I mean, it's not bad, but the Ardent Automata much better. And here is the last one, Rites of Coalescence. For 10 points. In your command phase, another model in this unit, so not the sorcerer, regain all his lost wounds. This one can be really great, even in a rubric unit, but I think it's better on a Scaraboccle Terminator. Overall score. I would give this box set a 7 out of 10, while the Inferno Master is really great and the Scaraboccle Terminators are awesome. Well, the Tzaangors are okay. Maybe a 10-man squad of Rubric Marines would have been better, or a 5-man Rubric squad and 10 Tzaangors, or things like that. But GW currently pushing really hard on the Tzaangor lines, which is not my cup of tea. It is okay for starting. And if you're planning to play Thousand Sons and to learn the ways of the warp and magic, this box will do a really good job for you. Thank you for listening. If you like what I do, please hit the like button, or subscribe, or both, and also hit the little bell. And if you don't hit the little bell, well, I probably upload a video on every Tuesday. Again, thank you for watching or listening.